I know I've said this in like every other get to know video that I've done, but this was probably my absolute most requested video to do on a group. I wasn't sure I was ever going to get to do this. I just became a fan of them in September, so I don't know everything about them, but this is things that I have kind of picked up on after watching interviews and stuff like that. Obviously I haven't seen everything they've ever done, but this is my impression of them. So if I said anything that's wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments in a polite way, please. Thank you. Get to Know is the sub-series with my K-pop 101 series where I introduce new fans to different K-pop groups. I don't talk about things that are easily found on Google, like when they debuted or who their management company is, because I think some things are fun to find on your own, and they are quite easily found through Google, like I said. So let's get started, shall we? There's one thing that I think a new fan should know about 17. It is that there are no normal members, okay? I've tried very hard to find one, and while every group kind of is weird in their own way, they don't have that like one member that's kind of grounded more than the rest of them. They're all just kind of weirdos in the best way possible. They're also all amazing dancers. They don't have a single black hole bad dancer. 17 is a whole group, obviously, but they're split into 3 different subunits, and normally the order I go in is oldest / leader to youngest member, but since there are subunits, I'm not going to do that. I am going to go in age order within the subunits, sort of, but things don't necessarily go in that order for every group, every unit. So we're going to start with Hip Hop Unit. Hip Hop Unit is, as the title suggests, the unit that focuses on hip-hop, so rapping and things like that. The leader of Hip Hop Unit, as well as the leader of 17 as a whole, is S-Coups. S-Coups is a tricky one to explain, but I think what really says a lot about him is his leader style. The members very much respect him, and that's really obvious in the way that if they're all like chattering and just being loud and crazy with each other, if he says something or if he tries to get their attention, they like snap too, and like everyone's focused on him. And that just says a lot, in my opinion, how mature and good of a leader he is. I think that says a lot about his personality. He's also a self-proclaimed competitive person, which if you've watched One Fine Day in Japan, you will know that that's true. Next in Hip Hop Unit is Wonwoo. Wonwoo is that like token deep voice member, although I think a couple of the members actually do have deep voices. His is probably the deepest, and that's like how he introduced himself, I think, for a while. He's also kind of hard for me to explain. What you see is kind of what you get with Wonwoo. He's called emo a lot. I think he actually calls himself that. He just kind of seems sad all the time, but he's not. He just like seems that way. He's known as like the literature nerd because he's always reading, or he's always talking about books, or like he raps about reading books. Like that's who he is. He's kind of like this closet nerd. But this doesn't say a lot about his personality or anything, but you kind of have to experience Wonwoo to see who he is. Because like I said, what you see is what you get. Like, he can be savage, but he can also be really kind. And like, I like him a lot. Next in Hip Hop Unit is Mingyu. Mingyu is one of those members that I looked at and I immediately thought was this like arrogant kind of asshole, but thought he was like too cool for school. But once I got a little deeper into 17's personalities, I realized he is the complete opposite. He is like the most gentle, sweet, precious, giant teddy bear of a person. Honestly, if 17 didn't already have a mom, I feel like Mingyu would be mom. And as a matter of fact, they captioned him as mom during their One Fine Day season, the first one, when they were castaways. He kind of did everything for everybody, and he took charge and was just taking care of things, and it was great. Lastly is the magnate of Hip Hop Unit, and that is Vernon. He's a quiet person that speaks when he has something to say. He's also really weird, but you wouldn't know it because of how quiet he is. I wouldn't call him shy. I really wouldn't. But he's also not super outgoing unless I think the other members are kind of being weird first. He feels comfortable being stupid when they're all being stupid too, and will be just as stupid. One of those people that I think everybody needs as a friend, because when you're being extra, they'll tell you like, hey, you're being extra, but it's okay, I'll be extra with you to make it seem like you're not as extra. The next unit we are going to focus on is vocal unit, and obviously vocal unit is the vocal members. The members who have the beautiful voices, although everybody in 17 has a beautiful voice. I've heard them all sing. They're great. Vocal unit is kind of like the representatives of the vocal line. You know, every group has a vocal line, but they just happen to have like a vocal unit. The leader of vocal unit is not the oldest member, and that is Uji. Uji has said himself that he is incredibly shy, but from what I've seen, kind of like Vernon, if the other members are being loud and dorky, he'll join them, not to like the same extent that Vernon will. Like, he's a little more mature, I would say, also very reserved. It's not necessarily like he won't speak unless he has something to say. Like, he'll speak his mind. He is more focused on what he's doing. He's not really concerned with what other people are doing, and he's just really dedicated to what he does, which is music. He writes and produces and composes and all kinds of stuff for 17, and the songs are always really great. Again, I think that says a lot about him. You can really tell a lot about someone based on certain things like their work ethic, and his work ethic is like top notch. Like, that's what he's dedicated to, is making music. I keep hitting my stupid lamp and it's making noise. So next we have the actual oldest member of vocal unit, Jonghan. I feel like it always sounds like I'm being really rushed when I say his name, but that's just how it comes out, Jonghan. Jonghan is the official mom of the group. They call him mom, or the Korean word for mom. I'm not going to use it because that's cringy. And he is known as like the angelic member, but he can also be savage. He's a little deceitful. He can be mischievous, and he can be like crazy and prankstery, but he's also the one that usually takes care of all the members. And with S-Coups, he's kind of like the second leader. He does a lot to manage the group. I think to take a little bit of weight off of S-Coups, honestly. That's what it seems like to me. But it kind of just comes naturally for Jonghan. And that's about all I can think of to explain him. Like, again, that says a lot about him, his caring nature and all that. Next is Joshua. He is known as the gentleman of the group because he's just really thoughtful and has great manners. He's also jokingly referred to as the like most arrogant member because he's super confident about his looks. Like, he thinks he is just so handsome, and he is, so he's not lying. He's like a perfect gentleman. I don't know what else to use to describe him because that's like his keyword. He is so just Joshua, gentleman Joshua. I'm sorry if that's not very informative, but like, again, like Wonu, you kind of have to see Joshua to really experience Joshua, you know? Next is DK. He's that you know when he's there kind of member. He's loud and he's usually always happy, but he has his like serious moments, and he's just like sunshine. He's like the sunshine of the group. He keeps things fun, and there are actually a couple of members that do, but he's just a really bright person, and when he smiles, it's like the most beautiful smile. And DK has this aura around him all the time of positive energy, even when he's not necessarily in the best mood. It's so weird. I love it though. And lastly, for vocal unit, we have Seungkwan. Seungkwan is that like sassy member that kind of always makes jokes that he didn't intend to be jokes, and it's like, it's funny because he didn't know it was a joke, and he's like determined all the time to be like that MC type funny member that is controlling the jokes and things like that. I don't even know if that makes any sense. I don't know how to explain it, but Seungkwan is also another sunshine type member. He's like pure, just bright energy. He's more sarcastic, I think, than DK is. I could be wrong about that, but that's what it seems like to me. The last unit is actually my favorite unit, and that is Performance Unit. Performance Unit is more focused on making a show out of what they're doing. Now, they sing, and obviously they dance. They're not in vocal unit, but they're more like choreography based and making things entertaining. I don't know how to explain that exactly, but that's basically it. So the leader of the performance unit is Hoshi. I would consider Hoshi to be the happy virus of the group. He's just always on, and he's always just there to cheer everybody up, and that's all you need to know about Hoshi, really. Also, amazing choreographer. I'm trying to kind of rush through this. I'm sorry if these last couple aren't super detailed, but I'm running out of time. Next is Jun. Jun is very quiet, but also, I don't know, Jun is, I have no idea how to describe Jun, and it's really frustrating. I made notes, and the only thing I wrote for Jun is quiet and confident, because he is also very confident in his looks. He knows he's good looking. God bless him, because he is. I think he's actually really smart, too. I'm pretty sure. I can't remember. I should have made more notes. But Jun is, I'm gonna say again, one of those members that you kind of have to experience to fully understand, because he's not like a serious quiet member. He's definitely not the normal member, but he's not always like loud and speaking. During interviews he will speak if he has something to say or if somebody asks him something, but he doesn't generally like jump in on his own. Different than like Vernon. I don't know how to explain it. I'm like rushing and it's my brain. Next is the 8. He is cute, but can be sassy and savage and helpful and caring and kind of quiet, but can be a dork. Like, that's a recurring theme, I feel like, with the members, but it's true. And that's the 8. Lastly is the magnate of the entire group, Dino. Dino, I only wrote down driven. He is determined and dedicated and always giving 100%, and he's super young, and that's admirable to me. But I also don't want to see him get overworked because he's so young. I respect him a lot because of how much work he puts in. The other members do too, I'm just saying, but for how young he is, it's really, again, says a lot about him as a person, I feel like. If you want more details or have questions, feel free to leave them below. I'm going to cover a couple of like reality shows really quick before I go, because I don't have a lot of time. They did 2 seasons of One Fine Day. One is the Castaway season, which is season 1, and one is the Japan season, which is season 2. They've been on Weekly Idol. They have Going 17, which is their like daily diary type thing. I don't think they've done any dramas. Jun did like a movie or something where he was a vampire, which is cool. I don't know like all the details. I'll put in the description things that I can find. There's a Tumblr called like 17 subs or something like that, where they subbed like a ton of stuff that 17 has done, that I recommend you check out. If there's a group that you would like me to do a get to know video about, hopefully that I'm kind of familiar with, I will do my best. Right now my most requested one is Super Junior as well as Winner, but if you have a request, feel free to leave a comment. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in my next video.